morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a fresh week on market today. For those familiar with Delhi's weather, there is a slight nip in the air. The temperature is down, and of course, you have wonderful weather that is there all across North India. I wish that were true for the markets as well, but sadly, that's not what is happening, at least on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. We will start our usual commentary with the daily chart of the Nifty that you see in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, all of last week, the Nifty and the Bank Nifty have rested. Cues that are coming in from overseas are good as far as Wall Street is concerned. There was a record high on Wall Street, including the Nasdaq, and that has should be helping sentiment, but that hasn't percolated across Asia, and it is not visiting our shores. Nevertheless, let's look at what the Nifty is trying to tell us. What you have in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, is the daily chart of the Nifty. All through last week, which is starting from 4th of October, the Nifty has tested the 50-day exponential moving average, and for the last 5-7 sessions has remained in a very tight, narrow band. In the early part of the previous week, on Monday 7th of October, a fresh low was set, which was 24,700. That low has been remained constant as far as bulls are concerned, and they have held on to some extent at 25,000. So a very, very strong support is at 24,900 as far as put writers are concerned. A very strong support at 24,800, and that is providing a good strength to bulls. But what is not happening is that the index is unable to go beyond 25,000 level, and that is where a lot of bears are present, and they are not letting the Nifty go beyond 25,000. Lots of call writing is strengthening at that level, and that is preventing the index from going higher. So a narrow trading range, ladies and gentlemen, worth about 150-200 points intraday is where the Nifty is, and a similar situation is there on Bank Nifty. Now, what are the cues that are coming in from overseas that will impact our markets today? Although Wall Street is at a record high, the US 10-year bond yield, which is the most critical component for any equity strategist to trade long, has now moved up. That is a negative. The US 10-year bond yield is now above 4.1. It has rallied for the 8th day in a row and is at its highest since July 26th. That is a negative for equity markets globally, including Wall Street, including Asia, and including India as well. This is at a 3-year high. What is good is that crude oil is quiet. There is nothing much happening in that market. There were expectations, in fact fears, that the escalation between Israel and Iran will happen over the weekend, but this is the second weekend in a row where nothing has happened, and slowly but surely markets are about putting them on the back burner. That's visible in the way how mid caps and small caps are rising in India, how their indices are performing, but the large caps, which is the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, remain hostage to this fear that there might be a major escalation in the Middle East, which will dampen alongside sentiment. What is also critical is that you have the Nifty mid cap weekly expiry today, and these are the last few expiries that you will see on the mid cap select index on a weekly basis. Remember, from November 20th, these expiries will come to a halt. What were the top performers in that segment? Indian Hotels up 9%, Persistent up 4%, and HDFC AMC up about 8.5% all of last week. These were the top performers. What is the major event for the day? Well, 4 major earnings are going to come in the market, most probably after the shutdown at 3:30, which is India's largest company by profit, by sales, by market capitalization, which is Reliance Industries. The counter itself is below 200 DMA. It hasn't done much at all over the last 3 weeks or so. In fact, corrected fairly sharply, and provided the earnings are good, it might provide an impetus for the bulls to go long on the counter. You have HCL Technologies already at a record high from the tech space to come up with earnings. In fact, this week you will have HCL Tech, Infosys, Wipro, and Tech Mahindra, the top 5 IT companies reporting their second quarter earnings. Remember, TCS had reported it on previous Thursday. So IT as a major sector will be influential in market this week. Remember, on Wall Street, Nasdaq has also hit a record high. Apart from that, you will have WPI and CPI inflation print coming in during market hours today, and that will probably define the trajectory of interest rates 2 weeks in now, 2 months from now. Most probably you will see WPI and CPI inflation weakening. That's a plus not only for the overall market but in particular for the banking sector. The only issue that I have is that last 4 sessions, while the Nifty has not been able to go past 25,200, which was the midweek high, the only issue I feel is that this could be a dead cat bounce, which is you rise sharply in a bear rally from 24,700 to 25,200, and then slowly but certainly the prices start to degrade, and once 24,700 is broken, then you fall sharply. That could be possibility, but let us see how that is negated by markets. All you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a long-term investor, use this opportunity to get back in a market which was recently at an all-time high of 26,200. We've corrected about 1,400 from the peak. Is that enough? Only time will tell, but it should not prevent you from buying quality mid caps, quality large caps, and especially quality funds in a SIP format, and further boost your portfolio. So this is what I'm looking at as far as major markets are concerned. Sideways trend on the Nifty and the Mac Nifty, but a strength coming back into indices such as the mid caps and the small caps. Remember, last week and the week previous to that, there were sectoral plays that were going around. At one day, the banking index would rise 1.5%. On some other day, the autos would take a lead. On some other day, pharma indices would rally sharply. Someday metals, someday PSU stocks. So there is a sectoral churn that is happening in the mid cap and the small cap space, but the issue is that the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are very quiet. Joining us on the show, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Vinit Bolinjkar, Head of Research at Ventura Securities. Good morning to you, Vinit, and a very warm welcome. How do you see this conundrum in the market where the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are doing nothing, but sensible traders and investors are using this opportunity to ramp up quality mid caps and small caps? What is your view in the market so far?
So I believe that the markets will stay, subdued for the few more days. I think they will take cues from numbers that come in today. Reliance and Infi will be reporting this week, and I think these will be drivers for what the index will be doing in the coming week. So overall, we continue to remain cautious. Our stance is that until the situation does not clear significantly in the Gulf, it's always at the point of escalating. So we would like to maintain our cautious stance on the markets. Additionally, we have the large IPO of Hyundai, which is going to open tomorrow, and we think that can suck out a large amount of liquidity from the markets. So until that this domino is not over with, I think the markets will remain subdued.
Okay, fair point. That's a very sensible suggestion. But what are you doing meanwhile? Is this a stance where you book profit in large caps? I remember about 15-20 days when we spoke to you, you said enough is enough. Stocks like Zomato are quoting at FY27 earnings multiples, and some money needs to be taken off the table. Are you still sitting on the equal amount of cash? Have you increased it, or is some of it deployed?
No, we are still sitting it out, and although this, the valuations may seem better than what they were a couple of weeks ago, right? the situation has got more tense in the international
Yes.
market. And, keeping all those things in mind, we still continue to, with a no change in stance, and we continue to watch the markets. However, there are certain pockets where we are selectively bullish, but with a very, very long-term perspective. And we have also initiated coverage on certain stocks.
Okay, let's take them piecemeal. Would you want to start with the initiating coverage, or would you want to point out stocks that are on your radar?
So I think I can talk to you about the stocks that we have initiated on. One of the stocks that we have initiated on is Fino Payment Banks, and we think that the company can do rather well going ahead. The other stocks that we have initiated on are Cantabile, which I don't know if I've spoken to you about. It's a retail story, and we think that it has a possibility to double. With the boom playing out in the retail markets, the story is driven by store expansions, and these guys manufacture most of their products in-house, so they have very, very healthy margins of around 26%. And we could see some slight bump up in margins also. So these are some of the stories that we are quite optimistic about.
Okay. Vinit, as christened by you, my blue pad is with me, and I have noted down Cantabile and Fino Bank against your name on 14th of October. You've mentioned how Cantabile stacks up in terms of better margins and probably a good entry point. But what do you like in Fino Payments Bank at a time when probably small cap banks haven't done all that well, and from an all-time high of 582, this counter is languishing at 412. This is good, which basically means that you are buying a margin of safety, at least a relative safety in terms of price. Counter got listed in December of 2021. What are the 2 or 3 plus points of Fino Payments Bank?
So, it is a digital payment stack. They have a very exciting model out here. In fact, they are your last mile in the retail unbanked market. They have close to 18 lakh touch points all across India, where, panwalas and, small businesses are actually their business partners, and who serve as digital payment banks. Okay. So jointly they take on customers, they build CASA, and they offer a variety of B2B services like cash payments, cash management services, digital services to a lot of companies like Bata, etc. And they have a number of work streams which are based on which are commission based. And now they are moving into becoming a full-fledged SFB. They've applied for a license, and we are quite positive that it will come through in the next few quarters. Once it comes through, this bank will be enabled to lend to this already acquired merchants that they have and the individual customers. And we believe that because they're unbanked, and since they have been having these relationships for the last 2-3 years and growing at 30-40% on this side of acquiring customers, I think they should do extremely well. In fact, we have a target that the stock will double from the current levels on a very conservative basis.
Okay, that's a wonderful thought process. And of course, in this time and age, Vinit, where it's very, very difficult to buy value, because everything is overheated. Here are two stocks at least where you believe that there is value to be had, and maybe they would at least Fino Payments Bank would double. What would be a time zone for this 100% appreciation that you have in mind as far as Fino Payments Bank is concerned?
So I believe that we are looking at about 24 to 24 months as the outside time frame when these targets would be achieved.
Okay, so from 412 to about let us say 800 is a 2-year journey that Fino Payments Bank should come into. Let's just look at the market capitalization of Fino Payments Bank, just 3400 crore rupees. Revenue is at 162 crores on a trailing 12-month basis. The earnings are at 91 crores. Promoter ownership is at 75%. And if you look at the last, okay, I don't have a PE duration of more than 1 year. Of course I do. So the median PE and the current PE are almost similar. So it's trading at a fairly decent valuation, and of course 1 year the counter has appreciated by about 34%, handsomely outperforming the BankX index, and of course slightly below the small cap index, which is up 50%. So these are the two stocks that have been initiated coverage on. Vinit, what is on your radar?
As I told you, that we continue to be cautious. We believe that one leg of the correction is done. We expect a slight little bit of a time correction, and then if the situation escalates, then we could have a little more bout of selling. So maybe another 500-600 points on the Nifty, and then we might start looking at the bigger stocks that could rally from here.
Okay, I basically meant that stocks that are on your radar which you haven't purchased, but you're waiting for juicy prices to come in, where you might step in. They could be large cap, they could be mid cap, they could be small caps.
So I think the telecom stocks are something that we like. So if we get the telecom sector comes off a bit, then we could look at buying into them. We like Himachal Futuristics. Another stock that we like is Paytm. I've spoken to you about that earlier. And we also like, the Tejas networks. So we are quite optimistic on the telecom networking space. We think both these players are world class, extremely competitive, and some very big markets are going to open out for them. So we think these two are the stocks that we would be looking to buy on at lower levels. Additionally, if I were to look at, I would be looking to get into ONGC at lower levels. And we have recommended Skipper 2 earlier. So if Skipper were to come off, we would be looking at those. We are also looking at metal stocks. So very close eye on what the Chinese markets are doing and how the trends play out. So we think that metal pack can also do well from current levels.
Okay, these are the 4 or 5 stocks that Vinit has mentioned, and just to how should I say, refresh your memory, and to also pat my back on good bookkeeping. Vinit, you mentioned Paytm at 688 on 1st of October, and HFCL on September 13th at 153 rupees. With this correction, of course, these counters get juicier still, but of course Paytm has turned the tide and is looking better since then. So Fino Payment I have written against your name, 412, and of course Canterville. And this conversation cannot sort of end without looking at Markson's Pharma, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that counter right up on our screen. This is a counter that Vinit had recommended on 26th of August at about 238 rupees. It has gone all the way up to 313, 314 rupees. Vinit did mention that you need to book profit because again valuations were off the charts, but we still continue to track them. V2 Retail and of course Arvind Fashion are the other stocks that Vinit has mentioned over his different appearances at separate points of time. Vinit, one very quick view on Reliance. The earnings are today. What are you expecting?
I think there could be some weakness in the O2C space. Retail also they're struggling a bit, but otherwise we think that the numbers could more or less be in line with what the market is anticipating.
Okay, fair point. We are just a couple of seconds away from market open. Vinit, I'll just request your indulgence for a while. Remember, we start a fresh week with a back foot as far as the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are concerned, but strong moves coming into quality mid caps and small caps all of last week. They seem to have turned the tide. Nobody is waiting for Israel and Iran to sort of blow it out in the Middle East. Whenever it happens, we will take a call. But for the moment, the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are quiet. 600 points higher on the market as far as Nifty is concerned. I so wish that I could close the market now, hand Vinit an air ticket and ask him to come over to Delhi for a wonderful, wonderful session in the evening. But such is not the life of the market. These are prices that will how should I say, ease out substantially, but we should enjoy the fun as long as it lasts. HDFC Bank 82 rupees higher, 5%. How I so wish this were right, 1733. Let's look at TCS and Infosys. These are the stocks, Infosys in particular, 33 higher at 1968. This is a record high. Let's look at the entire IT sector for two reasons. This week, the top 5 will be declaring their earnings. And we'll start with Wipro, which has said that on October 16th and 17th, it will be discussing a bonus issue. It's the top gainer in the NSE 500, up 7.5 at 567.90. Remember, one of the finest companies, tech giant Wipro, has a large part of its equity capital made up by bonus issues. I remember 14 over the last maybe 4 or 5 decades. I'll get that number for you. But another bonus in the offing, and that is how Wipro works. Let's look at some other prices which are buzzing. NMDC from the metal pack, this government company is up 6%, 247. You have a strong move coming into JSW Steel, 4.6% higher, 1058, again near a record high. It seems to be a metals day. Hindalco, 3.5% higher, Vedanta 0.5% higher. Hindustan Aeronautics, ladies and gentlemen, please keep an eye out on this one, 2.35% higher, 4,560. This is a company from the government stable which has now been designated as a Maharatna, the 14th Maharatna within the government stable. It allows government companies to take more independent decisions, have a better say in expansion, not look at the government for every application in terms of permissions. So that's a big plus. What else is buzzing in terms of volume? Dmart, muted earnings. The company informs shareholders that online commerce, which is quick commerce, is impacting volume. The counter is 6% lower, 4,300. You have Ipca Labs 1.5% lower, 1630. Nothing to be worried about. This counter was at a record high all of last week. Now prices have stabilized, ladies and gentlemen. Nifty is just up 33 rupees. I just want to see what Reliance is doing. Now this is good, 35 rupees higher. Now 25 rupees higher, 2770 on its earnings day. Numbers will come post market hours. A green tick on SBI, a green tick on Tata Motors. Let's get Vinit into the conversation. prices will stabilize from here. Vinit, both L&T and Reliance Industries are available below 200 DMA. For sensible long-term watchers of the market, are these reasonable levels to at least keep them on the radar on the long side, or do you feel that there is some more price cut ahead?
So, we think that L&T will buck the trend. Their order book is very, very strong. And, if you were to, purely take a market cap to revenue kind of chart of L&T and see, you will see that the market cap to sales number has been dipping quite extensively over many years. And that is just about turnaround now. So, what we are noticing is that apart from the valuation of the, IT L&T ownership stocks, the EPC business is also now getting good traction. We are seeing working capital being shaved off out here. The ROEs hence are improving on the business. And the order booking is very, very strong, especially the international book. So, today L&T is in a position to, choose the business that they want. And, so margins are also better out there. And hence, I think this stock can outperform the market. So, we have got more confidence in L&T and, Reliance being very highly commoditized. We think that there can be a lot of volatility in earnings, but L&T has now become more of a very stable cash generating machine.
I think Vinit's frame is freezed. We'll get back to him in a while. Meanwhile, the Nifty is showing signs of strength, now 70 points higher. Let's look at the stocks that are providing this strength as far as gains are concerned. Wipro on the Nifty up 3%, 545. JSW Steel, Shriram Finance, Tata Steel, Dr. Reddy's are amongst the other winners. A very quick look in the F&O space. Hindustan Aeronautics have just marked. Sun TV 0.5% higher. Let's look at the gainers that way. Just a moment, please. Okay. Cholamandalam Finance 2% higher, 1531. Tata Steel 1.5% higher. Federal Bank 1% higher. National Aluminium record high 1% higher. Now, what is prompting this uptick on the Nifty? Thankfully, 25,000 is back on the charts, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good start for the bulls. Taking it away, L&T 1.6% higher, 35.25. Reliance in strength 15 rupees higher. What is HDFC Bank doing? 5 rupees higher. What is ICICI Bank doing? Flat. What is Infosys doing? Infosys in the red. So it's L&T, Reliance, Lever and HDFC Bank that are piling up gains, and this is likely to be a good start at least for today. Once 25,000 is back on the board, ladies and gentlemen, it does impact the bulls in a positive way. Within the mid-cap space, within the mid-cap space, ladies and gentlemen, you have a strong footing on Mankind Pharma. Let's get Vaishali Parekh with us, Head of Technical Research at Prabhudas Leeladhar. Good morning to you, Vaishali, and a very warm welcome. A quick view on Reliance before earnings today. Is it at a sensible level, or do you see more corrections ahead, and your two stocks?
Very good morning. Yes, I think Reliance is showing weakness. So for now, it is at a support, but I think a prominent support comes at around 2630. So that is the level I think I would be more comfortable with. And regarding two stocks that I have to talk about, I think I like hotel industries right now. They were showing good momentum and technically well placed. So one of the stocks that I do like is Chalet. 890 and I would say 850 is the support. Look for a positional target of around 950. So that is one stock that I do like. And the other one which I like is National Aluminium. So, well, it may take a breather, but it's on a verge of a breakout. So we've seen the previous high at 227, 228. So I would say 210 acts as a good support. One can look for a target of 240.
Uh, okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I'll do is I'll mark a couple of prices. We're trying to set the audio a bit better. It's difficult to hear. you as far as markets and back end were concerned, but the bandwidth now up and running. Let's look at some prices and get Vaishali into the conversation. 59 points higher on the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is trying to open 90 points higher. The IT index about 47 points higher. And of course, the Nifty 500 in the green, 59 points. Let's hope this Monday brings cheer as far as markets are concerned. Of course, you have Reliance's earnings after market hours, HCL Tech's earnings after market hours, and let's hope that they provide the requisite freedom to bulls to come back into action. Vaishali, 1 minute left before markets open. A quick view on LNT.
Just a minute. Yes, so we saw some momentum coming last week. I think resistance comes at 3650. So that would be the level to watch. We may see some more upside, and 3650 should be the level to watch.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have prices upon us. The Nifty's opened 80 points higher. The Bank Nifty 141 points higher. The IT index is taking it away, 0.5% higher at 42,600. Now, what is buzzing within the Nifty? LNT, a bounce from 200-day exponential moving average, 1.5% higher, 35.34. Reliance ahead of its earnings, which will come post market hours, 8 rupees 30 higher, 27.57. Lever and ITC are in the green, representing strength from the FMCG pack. 5.7 higher on lever, and ITC is 1 rupee 20 higher. You have ICICI Bank and Axis Bank in the red. Nothing to be worried about. That's a minor downtick. TCS and Infosys again in the green. What is HCL Tech doing? This is a counter that is making record highs ahead of its earnings only. Let's look at HCL Tech for you. HCL Tech is 0.5% higher, 1848, and Wipro. This is the bonus boy. The board will consider a bonus on 16th and 17th of October, 2.5% higher at 542. A very quick look into NSE 500. Let's look at how earnings are getting reacted upon. Dmart down 8.7% after a dismal set of numbers, 4174. HAL 1.8% higher, newly designated Mahatratna. There is no stopping BSE, 1.7% higher, 4575. And of course, you have Zomato, 1.6% higher. You have National Aluminium, 3.3% higher. Shares in the green, 540 in the red. We track 19 indices for you. All 19 are in the green. So it's a good start. Let us see how long it holds. Vaishali, coming to you quickly. Anything that you would like to do in the first 2 or 3 minutes, or would you wait for 15 minutes? There is a blowout on the Nifty at least, gap up, and now trying to beat past 25,050.
Well, so I would wait and watch. But if you remember, there were few stocks we had discussed last time. HCL Tech, for instance. So it's surging. So I maintain my bullish bias for a target of 1900. And as I spoke about Analco, that also has given a breakout. So I would say, yes, continue holding. These two stocks are to my liking currently.
This is to you, Vinit. Any view that you would have on Bombay Stock Exchange? It's just accelerating like there's no tomorrow. consecutive record highs against the backdrop of just negative news. How do you see BSE?
I think it is in an exosphere now. So on a valuation basis, I think it's purely a momentum trade. So just hold the stock and not having any views on that as of these levels.
Okay. Okay. Vaishali, would you want to step in on Bombay Stock Exchange at current levels? We take regular feedback from technical clients, but technical masters, but sadly, it is not giving an opportunity to come in at lower levels.
I know, agreed. So I guess I need to, then SIP is the best strategy for this because now we look at the projected target of, well, for our near-term target now is 4,800, but for even higher levels, I think 6,000 share cannot be ruled out. So I think start accumulating. That would be the best way to do.
Okay, fair point. The markets are in fine shape, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at how prices are performing. I will make a detour into the all-time high space. Okay, National Aluminium, which Vaishali has already marked, 3.7% higher, fresh record high 231. IPCA Labs 1.2% higher, BSE 2.8% higher, HCL Tech, MCX, Divi's Lab, all at fresh highs. So it's either pharma, which is represented by Glenmark, Mankind, Divi's, and IPCA. Four record highs today, and of course the three other stocks that are always present: BSE, MCX, and National Aluminium. Volume buzzers, it's a bit early, but Dmart. Let's get Vinit Bolinjkar on Dmart. Disappointment here, Vinit, and you've been one of the biggest votaries of how quick commerce has changed the landscape. How do you see Dmart against this light? Even the management has now highlighted the issues that are cropping up because of quick commerce.
So when the management is taking cognizance of the fact that quick commerce is biting into the business, you can understand that DMart stands for affordability, very very fine pricing, and quick commerce stands for charge, fee based business. So these are diabolical mindsets, and we have seen people rule more for convenience and instant gratification, and that is a trend that is playing out because today's busy world, everyone wants everything at their disposal whenever and where they want. So the kind of business models that are evolved in quick commerce, which started only from food delivery and are now are getting into adjacencies and everything else, I think that is the way to play distribution. And if DMart will not adapt to that, then I think they will see further erosion in profits.
Okay. Vaishali, would you want to come in at DMart? The price at 41.94 is the lowest that we see from 21st of March onwards. How do you see the counter? The most recent high was 54.84. So we have a 1400 point erosion on Avenue Supermarts, better known as DMart. What are the charts telling you?
Well, so we've seen a gap down opening and there is a slow, I mean, of course, the trend is down. So I would say, well, it should continue showing weakness unless and until we see that we move past today's high, that is 4,300 levels, and we bounce back to 4,500 levels, which I doubt. I think the bias turns corrective. We may see a further downslide from here.
Okay. Anything that catches your attention? HDFC Bank now days high, Vaishali, 1665. Bajaj Auto kissing 12,000. Motherson Sumi 215. And of course, Granules India 612. Granules in particular, Vaishali, what looks good here on the charts?
So granules, in fact, we had recommended last week. I think, the stock is looking quite chartically after making a good consolidation and it's now surging high. So 615 acts as the near-term resistance. Once we see the stock moving above that, I think it can straight away go to 680 levels also. So, well, I think I continue to have a bullish stance for the same. And 590 should act as the near-term support.
Okay, fair point. Anything that you've observed, Vinith, that might add to this quality discussion that we are having? Power Finance Corporation 1.3% higher. Both REC and PFC are showing signs of further strength. Vinith, are these stocks that merit attention at your end?
So, REC and PFC are the, the best way to play the power boom. You don't have to go and buy any of the power stocks, do exhaustive research. These two stocks are extremely cheap. They're, at the front end of the curve as far as, play breakouts and trends are concerned. So, these are bellwethers to watch. We think that, they can easily become four-digit stocks going ahead over the next couple of years. As they are, as I said, power is the theme to be played over the next 3 to 4 years.
Okay, that's very well put. Vaishali, Power Finance Corporation and REC, top gainers today, at least in the NBFC space on FNO. What are the charts telling you? Are they worth it?
So I would say, well, REC, time and again, when it gives a bounce, it shows some signs of exhaustion. Right now, what we are seeing, it's making lower tops. So unless and until the stock moves above 570, that is REC that I'm talking about, I would say, well, it would be having a range bound to a little bit of a corrective bias. So I would wait for the stock to move above 570 to give a positive outlook for the same right now.
Okay, that's a fair assumption. Vaishali is in the process of chasing breakouts, and of course, you have Vineet who likes to buy pain. Let's look at the two stocks that Vineet had suggested, which is Fino Payments Bank. This is something that he has on his radar. It's at 413. Vaishali, I'll request your view on Fino Payments Bank and Canterville. This is, of course, uh, a retail company which is in the business of clothes. And now at 200-day DMA, you have Canterville about 2.5% higher. Vaishali, what are the charts of Canterville and Fino Payments Bank telling you?
Well, we start with Fino Payment Banks. Long-term trend is intact. We have seen a little bit of a profit booking and now consolidation, and it's coming above the cluster of moving averages. So I would say now a prominent support lies at 375 levels, and this stock is looking positive. We can have a target of 465 to 470 levels. So yes, it can be a good buying opportunity at these levels. And the other one, what we are talking about is Canterville. So Canterville also, we have seen that the past data, it shows that yes, the stock has been very quite positive, but for a very long term consolidation has been taking place. So right now it is taken support at 200-day moving average and it's trying to move high. So I guess the near term resistance lies at 265. Till then, it's a trading strategy. 265, about 265 and sustaining about that, we can look for targets of 300, 310.
Okay, that's the view on Canterville and Fino. Remember, these are stocks that have been initiated as coverage on the long side by Vineet, and you have a technical view coming in as well. 66 point higher on the Nifty. Let's look at some other stocks that are gaining ground. Let's look at the best of them. Okay, where are the circuits and the top gainers coming on? Some stocks that maybe I'd like to highlight. No, these names are not worth mentioning on air. Maybe Amber Enterprises. Vineet, this is the electronic manufacturing space that is doing very well. Remember, we already have a record high on Dixon, and Amber seems to be following suit. And now 60 crores worth of transactions that have happened, 4.5% higher. What else is buzzing? Let's look at all-time highs. Okay. BSE and National Aluminium we've discovered and talked about a lot. Uh, let's look at maybe India Glycos and VA Tech Baba. Coming to you, Vinit, first on this waste management team that is doing wonders in the market. VA Tech Baba very recently won a single order which was equal to its annual turnover. What are the charts? What are your views on VA Tech Baba?
Very positive, Shail, and we continue to like that stock. It's this segment, uh, the this segment should continue to do well over the long term.
Okay. Vaishali, a VA Tech Baba for you on the charts?
Well, so of course, I mean, I think this is these are the two stocks like Iron Exchange, EMS, Viatech Wabak. They are continuously showing good strength, but they are very gradual. So I would say that yes, the bias is positive. It's still getting into an all-time high. We would maintain a positive bias, continue holding for a long-term perspective also.
Okay. Now, what has happened in the first 50 minutes is that the banking index has taken off. And no surprise here, the top leader is HDFC Bank, 1.4% higher, 1678. The banking index, the Nifty Bank, is up 241 points, 51,413. And this is at the moment the top sectoral network gainer as far as the indices are concerned. A fairly strong show this side. Uh, let's look at the individual banks here. Vinit, this is coming to you on Bandhan Bank. Last week on Friday, uh, the bank appointed a very senior person from State Bank of India to helm Bandhan in its journey ahead. Bandhan has been beaten black and blue, record high of about 700. The counter now at 206. Are you hopeful of the prospects of Bandhan?
So we are very optimistic on the company. They have turned around. They've managed to pair their asset quality. They're putting in a good management in place now. Their management team is very strong now. And from these levels, we see more upside than downside in the stock. And, our preliminary calculations tell us that 240 is definitely on the cards for the stock in the short term.
Okay. Let's take a detour into the FNO space. My apologies, in the pharma space. I see a nice uptick on PPL Pharma. Vaishali, coming to you, a nice mid cap, which is PPL Pharma, low ticket, high beta item. What are the charts of this one telling you? An all-time high of 242, now a sideways band for about a month or so. Any view on PPL Pharma?
Yes, once again, I think it is very likely getting into a new round of momentum. So I would say long support, long consolidation support at 215. So that should be the near-term support. And once the stock moves about 230, look for the stock retesting the previous high.
Okay. Vinit, lots of people have seen very bad days on PPL Pharma. Would you have a view on this one?
Yeah, I think definitely the stock is going to turn around. And recently, the management came and spoke about how they're looking to, you know, treble turnover. So, I think they got their plans in shape. They have the capacity. CDMO business is now definitely gaining traction in India. It's all about signing new clients and then we are off the races. So, I
Oh,
think this stock can do well. Uh, as a percentage risk to reward, I think one of the few stocks with a lot of value still there.
okay. That's a fair assessment on PPL Pharma. 933, Vinit. Before we thank you, we'll again take a look at Canterville Retail and of course Fino Payments Bank. As Vinit says, I have mentioned this in my blue pad, and on 14th of October, we enter these stocks on your behalf, Vinit. Looking forward to great conversations ahead. Festive greetings and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's take the conversation forward with Vaishali. At the moment, ladies and gentlemen, the spirit on the long side seems to be active in the pharma index. Let's look at outperformers here and then quiz Vaishali on the ones that she prefers. Granules we've already discussed. Divi's Lab Fresh or High, IPCA 1.5. Uh, IPCA is something that we generally don't discuss because it's a low beta counter but a very quiet overachiever. What are the charts of IPCA telling you, Vaishali?
Well, so it's really surged high, one-way rally going in. So I would say, well, not a new buy, but to those holding should continue holding. I think this can do 1720.
Okay. So if you are a shareholder in IPCA, please do not exit. Probably at current levels, it doesn't merit an investment. Nevertheless, if you are in the rally, then please do enjoy the move up. Okay. NSE 500, let's look at counters that are buzzing on volume. uh, Polymedicure. This is a pharma ancillary which makes all sorts of medical equipment used in hospitals, in particular in the consumable space of operating theaters. Mastech 3% higher at 27.99. About 50% of 5-day volume is traded. You have a strong move coming into uh, Avas Financers, 1.7% higher, 1750. And in terms of the mid cap and the small cap index, let's just take detour into the indices. The mid cap 100 index is flat at the moment, doing nothing at 59,224. Advanced decline is also almost 44 shares out of 100 in the green. What is the small cap index doing? Flat in the green, 19,050 for you. The advanced decline is better. 55 shares out of 100 are in the green. And the NSC 500 in the green, about 0.25% higher. 260 out of 501 shares are in the green. That's good. Two strong moves, persistent at record high, and Deepak Nitrite 2581. Both of them in the FNO space. Vaishali, the charts on these two.
So, well, I would say Deepak Nitrite still looks favorable because this is not really participated. So, I would say theoretically this still has a lot of upside. It has shown an attempt to show signs of bottoming out of 2700 levels. So, I think once the stock moves above 2950, this is ready for targets like 3100 to 3200. There is persistent. We have seen already a good rally coming in, and well, it's still surging. So we wait. In fact, to those who want to buy can buy with today's lowest stop loss and look for a breakout because 5585 is the level that will act as a resistance, and above that we could get higher targets as well.
Okay. 937, and I think Zomato is doing well. Actually, yes, Vaishali, first a quick view on Zomato. Remember, Dmart just highlighted in its quarterly statement that it's facing an onslaught on quick commerce, which is delivery to our doorsteps in less than 15-20 minutes. Therefore, you have a green tick on Zomato, and the selling pressure on Dmart is getting stronger and stronger. It's rare to see Dmart as the second top traded counter on the NSE, down 7% and 7.5, 700 crores worth of transactions done. Zomato for you, Vaishali, 280.75.
There isn't much of a strength, but well, technically it's well placed. 255, 260 as support, and once we see the stock having good rise in volume and momentum, well, we can expect a target of 300, 310.
Okay. So that's the view that is coming in on Zomato. Remember, Vinit was one of the first people to highlight Zomato at about 130, 140, but he closed the trade around about 240, saying that valuations have become slightly difficult to explain. He watches, the stock on a different format compared with Vaishali, who sees the charts. And it's this wonderful jugalbandi between fundamental investors and technical chartists that keeps us busy on a fairly regular basis. Insurance seems to be coming up into action, and it is GIC Ray, which is now uh, doing pretty well on the charts. This is the government insurer, absolutely flat as flat can be since March, and now an uptick of about 3 odd percent from its 200-day DMA. It's been tested for the last 4 days. So maybe Vaishali can find out some momentum on this one. Vaishali, GIC Ray.
I think today's candle is showing a lot of strength and quite promising. So, well, I think 385 should act as a stop loss, and the stock can be taken as a strategy to start with for a target of 420, 425. Then we can have a
Okay.
relook.
Okay, and it's not only GIC Ray, which is the reinsurance arm of the government of India. It's NIACL, National Insurance as well, which is up 3.7%. That is looking good. I think PSUs are in good shape. We track 88 PSUs, strength coming in into BPCL 2% higher. This is the beaten down counter because of higher crude oil prices. You had seen profit booking, but now enthusiasm coming back on the long side. Maybe it's a swing trade. Ditto HPCL, 1.5% higher. You have within PSU banks strength seen in Union Bank, a percent higher. Let's look at the Nifty PSU banking index. What is it doing today in terms of ranking? Okay. PSU banking index is up 0.4%. And the beauty is that 12 stocks comprising the index, all 12 of them are up. So that's a positive. Let's find out Vaishali's favorite in the PSU banking setup. Vaishali, what looks good? For the moment, Union Bank and Canara Bank are leading the fort. What do you think makes sense?
Well, I think Canara Bank has really shown signs of bottoming out at around 9900 levels. So I would say it is a good buying opportunity, at least for a trading target of 110, 112. But well, if one has to pick for a longer term perspective, I will always start with SBI. We saw good momentum setting in SBI too. So, well, good consolidation. Let's wait for the stock to move above 810, and that's what
Hmm.
it's out of the woods, and we can see higher targets. So all the same, good level for long-term investors also. 780, 770 is a good support to start accumulating this stock.
Okay. It's the AMC broker setup in the market that is doing well. Of course, led by for the last 2 months, 1 month or so by Bombay Stock Exchange. Top gainer in this space, 3% higher, 46.37. Look at Angel One, 3% higher. Edelweiss, 3.3% higher. CDSL 1.3% higher, 1500. Anand Rathi doing pretty well. And of course, you have IIFL, Nuvama, HDFC, MC, JM Financial also in the green. So that's the thread that we are seeing working across the board. What else seems to be clicking? Look at high beta. Within high beta, you have counters such as okay, these are the ones I've marked. HCC 1.7% higher, 43. Medanta from the hospital space 1.2% higher, 1036.85. Policy Bazaar doing well. Hindustan Zinc a percent higher, 509. And of course, Paytm 0.6% higher. Let's look at top gainers because now the first 30, 35 minutes of trade is done. Okay, for some reason, Aptus Value Housing Finance. is the top gainer, 10% higher. Let us see what are the charts of Aptus telling us, Vaishali. It's rare to see this counter. I don't even remember seeing the chart for a while. Okay. That's a very, very sharp breakout that has happened on Aptus. Let's look at the weekly chart here. Vaishali, what are the charts of Aptus telling you? A record high now.
Yes, it's showing a lot of strength and it's ready for further high targets. I think, let's say 410 as near-term target and above that 440 as well. Because weekly, monthly, we are seeing well, it's there's no sign of exhaustion. There's still scope of further upside as far as the indicators we are talking about. But right now, if one has to make a new entry, 9% up already. So wait for a little bit of a dip to get in.
Okay. And now, what has happened, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Nifty has gathered strength. It's a triple digit gain, now firmly above 25,000. Let me just see the pullers and draggers, and then we'll do something fantastic on the option side. Okay. HDFC Bank, top gain, contributing 27 points. Reliance, contributing 8 points. Remember, it's the earnings. ICICI Bank contributing 0.5%, which is 9 points. Infosys and LN. So these are in the sequence of hierarchy. The top 4 out of top 5 stocks are in the green. And here is where the fun starts. Okay, now since we are on a Monday, let's look at the 25,100 call expiring on 17th of October. It is already up 52 rupees. I'll request the PCR to fire 25,100 Nifty call expiring 17th of October at 133. And Vaishali, what are the charts telling you on this one?
Which stock are you talking about?
I'm talking about the 25,100 Nifty call expiring on October 17th.
So I would say let's go for it. And at least to start with, we can expect a target of 25,200 to 25,300.
Okay, so that's where the Nifty is going. Let's see whether the PCR has fired that call or not. I think we'll have to reboot the FNO engine. That is not the price that at least I have. Vaishali, what is the price that you're getting on the 25,100 October 17 Nifty call?
I won't have the data. I don't track derivatives.
Okay, okay, no issues. It's clicking at about 134. I think we should reboot the system and then take a call. But that's how prices are at the moment at 134. And we will again revisit this call a little later. Okay. Now, what is buzzing? Already 908 crores worth of transaction on the Bombay Stock Exchange, 3% higher. What can be done? This is just taking it away. A very strong move is coming into HDFC Bank. Let's analyze the HDFC banking chart for our viewers via Vaishali. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to see what is the position on the chart. Okay. We have 21 EMA inhibiting this on the long side. Let's hope it gets broken. A swing trade by Shali on HDFC Bank. What are the charts telling you?
So currently, again, after a retracement, it took support at 1610 and again making an effort to bounce back. So we need clarity. The stock needs to sustain about 1680, 85 levels. And once again, it would be ready for a target of 1710, 1720 to start with.
Okay, 948. Let's show you some interesting data on new highs. Skipper, 3.7% higher, 567. This is something that our friend Vinit had obliquely mentioned, but he wanted the price to come down. That hasn't happened. A record high here. IPCA we've marked. Nichco tiles. Normally we don't discuss this one. Nevertheless, a record high I'm going to mark it. 7.5% higher, 98 rupees. Shoemaker red tape, 5.5% higher, 881. You have a move which is coming into Unichem Labs, 3.5% higher, 733.40. And we have some other stocks I'd rather not name on air, but strong move coming into new highs. Is there a stock at all-time low? Yes, there is, but all of them are from the SME space. I'd rather not mention them on air. What else is buzzing? Vaishali, anything that catches your fancy?
No, I think my focus is more on banks.
Okay.
So
And
yes,
what looks good?
HDFC Bank and SBI.
Okay, okay. That's a fair point. Let's look at the broader FNO space, and let me just share some interesting data on Bank Nifty. We have 12 stocks here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at the build-up of longs. Okay. HDFC Bank, the highest weighted component. ICICI Bank, second highest weighted component. There's no surprise why the Bank Nifty is now up almost 480 points, a percent higher at 51,650. IndusInd and Canara Bank are also in the green. How about short covering? Okay, it's in three, which is the reason you see why Vaishali is only watching banks. So long build-up is happening in five, short covering in three. So that's 5 plus 3, 8 out of 12 are in bullish mode. Is there a short build-up? Okay. AU Bank, which is really minuscule in terms of, how should I say, weightage in the Bank Nifty, is down minorly. And of course, there are no long underneath. So that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why you see this underlying granularity and strength. And giving faith to Bank Nifty is the entire PSU banking network, ladies and gentlemen. All of them are in the green. Federal Bank 2.3% higher. You have Canara Bank 1.2% higher. So it's a combination of long build-ups and short covering, which is propelling the bank index higher. Because banking is such an important and highest weighted component in the Nifty, that is the reason why Nifty is also rising. So as of now, 25,100 is with us, which means that short covering will now possibly begin on the 25,000 call writer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, we can track from the fall in the price of the put. 25,000 put is now at 80 rupees, expiring on 17th of October. And would you believe it? At 80 rupees, it is down 80 rupees, which means it was at 160 on Friday's close. So you can well believe that the fall in the put is far sharper than the rise in the call. So that's the way you sort of figure out how short covering happens. And of course, again, I'll request the PCR to fire 25,100 Nifty call expiring on October 17. The price that I get is 136. Let us see what the PCR fires, but that's the price that at least I have on a daily basis. Let me see what it is doing. Yes, the high for this call, ladies and gentlemen, was 535 on 4th of October, and for the moment it's now at 141. Let us see whether the PCR has been able to find that call or not. No, I don't see it on this. Okay. Vaishali, 952, what are you observing?
Well, so now I'm also looking at IndusInd Bank.
Okay. What are the charts telling you?
Technically quite okay. I mean, ready for a bounce. So I would say 1340 as a stop loss. And maybe if our view goes right, Bank Nifty continues to show strength, this can go towards 1400 levels. And in the cash category, I'm looking at Angel One and Edelweiss.
Well, these are brokers. Don't you wish Prabhudas Leeladhar were listed?
Well, very soon, hopefully. Yes.
Okay, let's hope for the best. And of course, I also see Angel clicking fairly sharply here. A view on Amber Enterprises, Vaishali, a record high here, a cash counter, and
Yeah.
how should I say, another format of Dixon. How do you see the charts at Amber?
Robust. Very, very good.
Okay.
Because this was one stock which we were tracking right from the time when Voltas was also sold down, and this was at around 2000 levels. And from there on, there is no looking back. Gradually, we are seeing the stock surging high. So I would say continue holding. But if one has to buy fresh, wait for a dip.
Okay, now comes the first stock on a particular scanner that I have where volumes are bursting around. Greenfly Industries. Vaishali, what are the charts telling you? I see a volume breakout. I leave the judgment on price to your better sense. All-time high 409. We are now at 384. Is there a swing trade in the making?
I think so. Because, well, again, a very strong chart, good consolidation, time to again getting into new round of momentum. So, well, 370 as support and a target of 410 to start with.
Okay. The other stock, Vaishali, I'll request your view on is ABB. Very nice chart. What is it telling you?
This is one
After
stock which,
possibly, yeah,
yes.
tell me, you
So this
first.
is one stock which we have already recommended last week itself because overall we were finding a lot of strength right from 8,000 levels. So currently it is 8,600, nearly, yes, it is 8,625. I think even to those who would want to buy, accumulate with supports of 8,400 and look for a target of 9,000.
Okay. So there is a breakout, ladies and gentlemen, on ABB. I'll request the PCR to fire a long-term chart. And the chart looks very good. It's done nothing since 18th of June. And now it shows signs over the last 4 or 5 days to come out of that position. I'm also tracking the 8,800 call on ABB expiring on 31st October, now at 155 rupees. A very nice OI change, a strong momentum in the price, and it seems to be looking good. What also is doing well is on the short side. Is it Birla Soft? Vaishali, yes. Birla Soft is showing signs of hitting a very strong resistance. 590 put on Birla Soft is gathering momentum. Maybe a technical view on Birla Soft on the charts, Vaishali.
So if 580 breaks, it could go to a further downslide and we can see levels of 560 to start with and maybe perhaps lower.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap the show here. Vaishali, thank you so much for your time. And as always, it's been a pleasure. Am I mistaken, or was it your birthday last week?
Yes, it was on 12th.
Okay, happy birthday. And
Thank you.
you share it with megastar Mr. Bachchan. So I'm sure there'll be great picks and uh, great life ahead. All the best to you. And
Thank you so
here's hoping for a great festive season ahead.
Thank you and best wishes to you too.
Okay. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's now take a detour into the markets. We'll start wrapping up the trade for the first 45 minutes. A great start. So far, the Nifty is up 140 points, driven by private sector, public sector banks, and a very sharp move coming into the IT stocks. The Nifty Bank 480 points higher, driven by ICICI and HDFC Bank. The IT index 250 points higher, driven by Infosys. It's a good start for the market, which has remained quiet on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty for all of last week. The bulls have sort of rested for the last 4 or 5 trading sessions and have come out stronger on the first day of the week. The advanced decline is fairly robust. We have on the NSE 1357 shares in the green and 1100 shares in the red. We tracked 19 indices for you. Out of 19, 17 are in the green. led by the interest rate theme. So beaten down realty bounces back 1% higher. The Nifty Bank, the Nifty PSU Bank, and the Nifty Financial Services Index, all three of them are the top gainers. The mid cap select, whose weekly expiry is today, is 0.5% higher. In the green are small cap and mid cap indices, and of course, the advanced decline ratio favors the bulls. In terms of record highs, it's a very strong momentum that is coming into pharma counters. This is something that we've been highlighting for the last 3 months. Therefore, Ipca Labs, Glenmark, Divi's, and Mankind Pharma are at record highs today. There's no stopping BSE, and there is no stopping National Aluminium. That will be all, ladies and gentlemen, but remain glued to the top news that is happening on Business Today Television on the other side of the screen. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice day.
Well, now it's time for my favorite segment on the show where all your tech queries are answered. The first question, while I'm sifting through my DMs, comes from Manish. Manish is asking, should I use Apple Find My or should I just turn this off on my phone? Is it draining my network? Did you know, Manish, that Apple's Find My network helped find a lost Ferrari? In a small town in the state of Connecticut, USA, a man's brand new Ferrari 812 GTS was stolen, but he found it using Find My. Now, Find My, of course, doesn't track cars. It's only for Apple devices or if you're using AirTag. So how did this happen? This man accidentally forgot his AirPods inside the Ferrari. And once the thief stole the car, this gentleman used the Find My app on his iPhone and located his AirPods at a local gas station, a petrol pump. He immediately alerted the authorities about this location, and once the police reached this place, not only did they find the AirPods, but also the Ferrari. The thief ran away from the scene, but he left the car there, ultimately leading to a very unique case of the Find My network. Now, this is a very unique case of using technology for the right reasons. It was happenstance, but